Hey everyone, Mr. Griffith here, and in this video I'm going to show you some practice tips for the first violin part for classical symphony. The section that I'm going to be working on here is measure 1 up to 41, which is a pretty big chunk of the music. So I'm going to play it through slowly at first, and then I'm going to go back and kind of explain what you can do to be successful in each of the different sections. Okay, so here we go. This is the beginning of classical symphony. Ready? Okay, so at the very beginning, I'm not going to really worry about dynamics right now. What I'm mainly concerned about is the technique. There's some bowing stuff going on there, and then also there's some shifting stuff going on there for the left hand and accidentals and stuff like that. So I'm strictly going to be talking about bow stuff, accidentals, and then left hand shifting, not so much dynamics. So in the first measure, we've got a down bow on the first note, and then an up bow slur, and then up down again. And then in the second measure, we have 3 ups in a row. So you're going to have to save a lot of bow for those 3 ups. But it requires you to kind of plan ahead even before you get to that measure. So in the first measure, I already know that I've got to use a lot of bow for those 3 ups. Now, with those 3 ups, you notice that they've got a little staccato marking underneath each note. So we want to make sure that there's separation in between each of the notes. And how we achieve that is we give the note a little bit of a nudge with our fingers. And that allows us to get a clear beginning of the note, but also it's a quick motion, so we can stop the sound really quickly. And so that gives us that stop, stop, stop sound. And then measure 3, we have the same bowing, or almost the same bowing that we had in the first measure, with a little bit of a twist. So we have a down bow, and then up, and then another up. So again there, you just want to use your fingers to kind of flick that bow on the open A string in measure 3, and that'll give you that separated sound. So here it is again. This is measure 3. Measure 4 has the same bowing as measure 3. So we have Measure 5 and measure 6 have the same bowing and the same rhythm. Again, this is another opportunity. Save your bow. All you need to do is flick your wrist and your fingers when you get to that last note. And so it's going to take a little bit of practice to kind of get that motion in there. But if you practice it slowly, work on getting just that flick right there. That's really all you need for this particular spot. Measure 7 and 8, that one's not too bad. It's just a scale. If you wanna start it off as separate bows, it's just a D major scale, and then you can add in the slur later. Just make sure, again, that you're saving lots of bow for those slurs. Measure 9, this is kind of an interesting spot because we have the same kind of bowing that we did back at measure 1. So we have a down bow, up, down, and then the same 3 ups. Down, up, down, up. So again, it's the same bowing as the first 4 measures. So if you've practiced the bowing for the first 4 measures, then the bowing is going to be the same for 9, 10, 11, and 12. Again, you're working on that flick of the fingers and of the wrist. Measure 13 and 14, this is just a spot where you really want to pay attention to the half steps and whole steps in your left hand. So 13 starts off on a B, and then A, G natural, that's that low 2, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B. And so all together it's... And then you go back over to the E string for 15 and 16. For 16, make sure you're counting really carefully so that you can enter in on that 1 and 2. If you want to count it out, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. And again, at measure 17, we have the same notes and bowings and rhythms that we had in measure 1, 2, 3, and 4. So again, if you've practiced 1, 2, 3, and 4, you'll be able to do measure 17, 18, 19, and 20. At 21, that's where we have the accidentals. Nothing terribly difficult there. Just make sure that you've got your low 4 in the correct spot. And if you've landed on your D from the previous measure in tune, D is right there. E flat's just a half step away. So you're going to go E flat, and then another E flat, that's that low 1, C, A flat, and then again that A flat is a low 1 right there on the G string. So let me skip ahead to measure 27. This is another spot where we have an up, and then another flick of the wrist. So there's 2 things going on there. So we have the bowing motion, but we also have a shift. So let me show you what that looks like. And I would encourage you to practice this pizzicato first, just so that you know where your left hand fingers are going. So at measure 27, we have C, D, E, G, C, B, C, E. When you play that open E, that gives your left hand a chance to shift. I would say put your first finger in second position. That's with your first finger on the G natural, right in between the first and second tape. So there it is. And then all you have to do really is just put down the rest of your fingers, and your fourth finger is automatically going to be over that C. Now, you may need to adjust a little bit depending on your instrument and your hand size. But basically, if you look at the shape of my hand, I've got G, a whole step to A, a whole step to B, and then a half step to C. That's a pretty reliable hand position. So again, we're going to start back on the C, C, D, E, G, C, B, C, E, G, C. And again, you'll have to adjust a little bit and really feel how far away should my fourth finger be to get it in tune. The next little section here, 31, we're going all the way down to a B flat, C, D, F natural, that's that low 2 there, B flat, A, B flat, D, F, low 1 here for the F natural, and then... Now notice here, I've got my hand in the same exact shape that I did for the G, A, B, C. I just have an F, G, A, B flat. And again, that's nice to reinforce because all you're doing then is you're doing the same hand shape. It's just in a different spot on the string. 35, nothing terribly complicated there. That's just G, B, D, B, D, B, D, and then again, G natural, so there's that low 2. So that's all in first position. And then the next spot here at 39, we start on F natural. So this is just an F major arpeggio. We have F, A, C, F. There's that low 1 again. And then I would shift up to third position, A, C, A, F. So let me show you that whole thing again. So we start on F, A, C, F, A, C, A, F. And so as you're practicing this, I would start off with pizzicato and just make sure that you have all of those notes and the rhythms in the exact right spot. And so then once you've finished with the rhythm or with the rhythm and with the note names, then you can add the bow. And so on. And so now we're combining these two skills. So we've got the left hand finger patterns, the half steps and whole steps here, and then we've got the bowing technique with the flicking of the wrist to get that extra up bow in there. And that should be enough to get you guys in a good position. If you have any questions about this, just let me know. Happy practicing.